SWAC Commissioner McClellan, says that the conference took advantage of the prime effect that was left by Deion Sanders and what took place while Deion Sanders was in the conference. Do you agree, though? Let's talk about it and more after the bumper. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your content. Be sure to do me a favor to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload all the time. Now, SWAC Commissioner McClellan spoke with the Alcorn basketball team during the SWAC tournament this past week, and he spoke. Whoa. Oh, my bad. No, that's the actual interview, by the way. But he spoke about Deion Sanders' time in the tournament. I'm going to reference an article written by HBCUsports.com. Kendrick Marshall over at HBCUsports.com. Shout out to Kendrick Marshall, man. He does a great job. And let's look at it. His article is titled SWAC Commissioner Charles McClellan says league capitalized from the prime effect. It goes on to say SWAC Commissioner Charles McClellan, during a recent interview with the longtime Alcorn State broadcaster Charles Eden, said that the league benefited from the opportunities that were provided as a result of Sanders' association with the conference. It goes on to say, quote, everyone talked about Coach Prime and how he exited, but the one thing that I've always stated is that from a SWAC office standpoint, we capitalized. And I think we did. We wanted to capitalize, and I think we did. We wanted to elevate the brand. That is a fact. I agree with him. The brand of the SWAC did elevate during the 2 years that Deion Sanders was at Jackson State. That is something that is inevitable. There were people that weren't tapped into the SWAC before Coach Prime got to JSU that now will never leave the SWAC. I can even say that I'm a product of that. I've never made any shame, no bones about it. That he is someone that drew me to a conference that I should have known more about, but didn't. And now you're never getting rid of me. So like that is the trade-off. And I'm sure SWAC Commissioner McClellan and all the partnering schools will take that 10 out of 10 every day of the week. He goes on to say the commissioner quantified the impact in numerous ways. One thing nobody can deny about what Coach Prime bought was more eyeballs on us, and we've been able to enhance the conference from a financial standpoint, visibility standpoint, and television standpoint. That's going to continue to grow, he said. It goes on to say, this from that interview says, when we track the impact, because I listened to the whole interview, so I know these are quotes that came from the interview. It says, when we track his impact from an attendance standpoint, it is measured in the thousands, not the tens of thousands, but in the thousands. Now, that is crucial. What he means by that is, when Deion coming to Jackson they ended up setting the FCS attendance record at 42,000 people per game. Now, that is awesome. That's the FCS record. That means nobody else in FCS had more people come to their games than Jackson State during the time Deion Sanders was there. But you know who owned the previous record? It was Jackson State. So he set the record at 42,000, but the previous record was 38,000 set by none other than Jackson State. So what he's saying is yeah, he raised about 1,000. That's a net positive of 4,000. But it wasn't like you went from 38,000 to 60,000 average. You went from 38,000 to 42, maybe 45. And it's good, but that's not tens of thousands. So meaning, and what he was saying was, meaning that JSU drew a crowd before he got there. Now, he helped booster the crowd, but let's not act like they weren't having fans come into their games. He goes on to say, some of our highly watched games definitely included Jackson State, but others included Southern, FAMU, Alcorn. So people watched the games. Yes, Jackson State had more higher watched games across the board, but across the board, our numbers were up. And that's because more people saw the SWAC and saw it was a great brand of football. He goes on to say, we've seen an increase in corporate sponsors wanting to be a part of this. We've seen an increase in the number of games that our television partners want to put on. So we're going to be in a very good spot, and we appreciate it. In January, ahead of the SWAC championship game, McClellan described the SWAC as not a small black conference anymore in the landscape of D1 athletics. McClellan spoke highly of the league's partnership with ESPN and HBCU Go. Now, that's up for you guys to debate, not me. Featured several SWAC football games, men's and women's basketball games in 2022, 2023. Now, one of the things that he spoke about, I see during his press conference in January, McClellan also mentioned that thanks to the revenue growth, the SWAC had distributed more than $9 million to its 12 members, a high among all other FCF conferences and some FBS leagues. Now, what that has to do with, a lot has to deal with the HBCU Go deal. You know, we've went at length ad nauseum about the deal with HBCU Go, how much money it pays, and why it's actually a really good deal, right? It distributes more money for the SWAC than a lot of TV contracts do. Forget FCS programs. We're talking about some of the smaller FBS programs don't get as much money from their TV deals as HBCU Go. A secondary deal gives to the SWAC. And I want to 247 Sports tweeted something. We've already done this before, but just in case people forgot, 247 tweeted this out. They tweeted this picture of the biggest TV contracts in college sports. Now, of course, you're about to see some gigantic numbers, but it's not the big dogs that we're taking a look at. These are FBS conferences too, by the way. So if you take a look at these TV contracts, obviously you got the Big Ten, the SEC with just these absurd numbers: $1 billion, $800 million, $300 million, $250, $240, $83, $45. But when you get to these last three, FBS, meaning they have 85 scholarship players, they're bigger conferences, they're bigger schools, etc., etc. You get to those FBS, the bottom three of the FBS, you'll see numbers that are smaller than what takes place in the SWAC. The MAC, for example, as a conference, only got $8 million per year from their TV deal. That was probably through ESPN. I don't know who carries the MAC. I think the MAC is the one with the Tuesday games. Yeah. Sunbelt, whose deal isn't up until 2031, only got $7 million total from ESPN. Conference USA got $4.4 million total for the whole conference for their TV rights. The SWAC got $100 million over the course of 10 years for their secondary TV rights. And so that's where I think they did take advantage of having someone like Deion Sanders in their conference by going to strike a secondary TV deal that pays them more than the Midwest Conference or the MAC or the Sun Belt or Conference USA. Well, not the Midwest, I'm sorry. The MAC, Sun Belt, Conference USA. 8, 7, and 4. The SWAC secondary deal pays them more than the three bottom FBS conferences. You're able to do that because you have someone like Deion Sanders in your conference. That means you took advantage, at least in some aspect, of his time being in the conference. Now, could they have done more? Absolutely. There were some things that left on the table, but there was also a whole lot of great that came out of his services at Jackson State, both for Jackson and for the SWAC. I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did the SWAC take full advantage of having Deion Sanders in their conference, or did they just completely drop the ball? You let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYJr YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at JLightsy7. The name is on the screen. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at JLightsy7. And I'll also link the full interview with Commissioner McClellan, both the article from Kendrick and the full interview via Mr. Charles Edmonds in the bio of this video. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show. Hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys next time.